What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And on today's episode, it's a brief one. We'll be going over some updates that could affect the Bulls and the Eastern Conference in the playoffs as a whole. We'll also be giving an update on Tristian Thompson and diving into the mailbag. All that right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central.
All right, Bulls fans. So the first thing that I want to talk about with you guys for today is that it's word coming that New York may be lifting the vaccination mandate and requirement soon. So what that could mean and the impact that they could have on the Eastern Conference and the Chicago Bulls, right, which what we care about the most, is it would now allow Kyrie Irving to play in home games. That is really something big that could really change the whole dynamic. We know that Brooklyn has been not playing the best, right, but we understand why. One of the things that we've been talking about and I've been talking about very heavily is what impact will it have on the playoffs to not have Kyrie for every game? Well, seems like that may not be an issue. That may not even be a conversation. And what that could mean for the Brooklyn Nets as they finish the season. Kyrie has come out and said, be on the lookout for the Brooklyn Nets after the All-Star break. And maybe they already knew that this was coming down or something. This really does change a lot of the things with the Brooklyn Nets. They've already added Goran Dragic, who I had talked about, could play a big factor in games that Kyrie could not play. That still very well could be true until this mandate is actually lifted. But let me know what you guys think down below. Does this change anything for you when it comes to the playoffs, the Eastern Conference standings and everything like that? We could very well see Brooklyn come back to the top of those standings towards the end of the season with 23, 25 games left for most teams. So yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. Like, this is what I'll say with this. And I've been very consistent on this. I know also Ben Simmons has also talked about he's gearing up and preparing to come and start playing for Brooklyn. The thing that I feel is that it doesn't matter, right? In the sense, yes, it couldn't completely change the dynamic of how we have to play them. But the key thing is, I trust in this team when they're fully healthy. I trust in this team and what they're going to be able to do with their guards and their defense when they have everyone healthy. Now that we've added Tristian Thompson as well, does it scare me a little bit more? Absolutely. Absolutely, right? But at the end of the day, I really do trust if this Bulls team can get back to playing the brand of offense and defense that they had when they had relative health, right? Because we've never been fully healthy because we never had Kobe and Patrick Williams at the same time, and now Tristian Thompson adding in that. But, it's just one of those things that really could affect a lot of the way that the things are in the Eastern Conference right now. But let me know what you guys think down below. Again, not directly Bulls related, but I think it can have enough of an impact that I wanted to talk about it here. The next topic, Tristian Thompson is going to wear number 3 for the Chicago Bulls. Now, is that huge news overall? No, but I did want to update it. I say that I'm your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. What do I look like not updating you guys on what number Tristian Thompson is going to play? Now, one thing with this, and a lot of the conversation that's been happening is Tristian going to start or not? We haven't really heard anything. Looks like we'll find out tomorrow what happens, but I've been very consistent on I don't think Tristian's going to start, but I could be completely wrong with that. Overall, one of the things that I like to see in the Bulls community is I think what we're seeing is that Bulls fans have slowly started coming more and more around to understanding the impact that Tristian Thompson can have on this team. I think it was that initial, yes, the Bulls added someone. Then after that, there was that, hey, but wait, Tristian Thompson's numbers aren't the best. How much does he really have left in the tank? Conversations naturally started, and that's fine. That's a natural progression of things. And now Bulls fans, now that they've had more time to really to really look at everything, look at the numbers, look at how he can plug in for the Bulls. It's like the conversation with the Bulls community, like I told you guys, I'm in Facebook groups, Twitter, social media, in the comments here. It really seems that everybody is starting to understand just if this goes right, how much this can change for the Bulls, how many extra possessions Tristian Thompson can get us, how much his length and athleticism, and him not being Butterfingers like Tony Bradley is, can really help change this Bulls team. And then when you look at adding players like Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Patrick Williams back as well, it's a good time to be a Bulls fan. And one thing with me, as we gear up, I do need to see, one thing that I've talked about a lot is that I understand why some of the, especially national media and people who aren't just Bulls fans, and even some people who are Bulls fans, have said we need to see the Bulls play better against the top competition in the East. Now, you can throw us some bell and say, well, it's injuries, COVID. There's a lot of reasons on why you can look at why the Bulls haven't really played the best that we know that they can against some of the top tier competition. Those conversations have to go away. The Bulls have to show and prove now that we've added the size, right? The size that we've so desperately needed. I need to see the Bulls, regardless of who's out there on the court, be formidable. By that, I mean no blowouts. By that, I don't necessarily mean they need to win every game, but I do need to see them play and put together games against the top competition so that we can firmly state and show everybody the Bulls aren't anything to laugh at. The Bulls aren't anything to take lightly. When you look at like a lot of the odds for finals, and like the Bulls are like 1.4%, and some of I've said it, I've been consistent with this. I've said this since the beginning of the season. Everything and anything that can give this Bulls team a chip on their shoulders, I'll take, right? I'll take. But at the same time, we need to continue to punch those people in the mouth as well by showing up and playing with great effort and intensity and making every game tough for any team in the league that comes in and faces us. In these last 23 games, those are going to be things that I'm really looking forward to from this Bulls team as we gear up for the playoffs and as we get more players back healthy and as they work everyone back in. But that's it on that. Let's get into the mailbag. We got 2 voicemails from today. This first one is from Quentin.
What up, Haize? It's Quentin again. I just wanted to call in and kind of just talk about my thoughts on the rest of the season, kind of see what your thoughts are. Also to kind of just, if we're really thinking about it, put in perspective for a lot of the Bulls fans out here, right? If you think about this team, and I know for me coming into this season, I was thinking this is going to be a good team. We're going to go through some growing pains. It's going to take a little bit for, Zach and DeMar and Vooch and everybody to kind of gel and Lonzo and to figure out this team working together. So for me, I thought we would be a good, 5th, 4th seed, make a big step in the playoffs, kind of show that we're a good team, that we're coming, the next few years. So this team has been producing way better than I feel like a lot of us really believed they were going to be the first year. I figure like a lot of us thought they were going to be this good maybe year 2, year 3 together, but to see the improvements we've seen is amazing. So we have to really put in perspective that, like, as good as this team is, this is the first year they're together, right? So most people had the idea of starting the year that we were going to be good in the playoffs, maybe make a good run, round 2, show people what we're about. And now what people are talking, we are title contenders, right? We're people who may make an Eastern Conference Finals. So we have to really put in perspective that, yes, we do have a very busy schedule the rest of the year, very compact as far as the good quality teams we're playing. We have to think about that because 1 or 2 things are going to happen. 1, we're going to go in, we're going to see a great change in everybody, and they're going to win some extra games we didn't think about. Or 2, right, the rest of the season we're going to maybe get beat up a little bit, kind of see some games where we're not seeing the best basketball, but learn from it and kind of see how we stack up against these really great teams before the playoffs and get into that mindset of what we have to do. So for me personally, if we do great, great. If we, are doing amazing and we're using this year as a learning year and we do better next year, great. I'm just happy to see good Bulls basketball again, and I want to know what you were thinking.
And Quentin points out, listen, I love level-headed Bulls fans. I love level-headed Bulls fans. And him saying and talking about how we did not, coming into the season, expect this Bulls team to be this good, right? And then it's a natural thing that happens with team. You come in with more realistic expectations, some people with super high expectations, and then when we saw this team, how they played together, how that time were fit, it didn't really take them long to work it out. Seeing all those things, of course, made people expectations skyrocket. And even people like me who I've said, the Bulls can absolutely make an Eastern Conference Finals, and because I trust that they can fight with anybody, that there's a chance that they can make the finals. Now we start becoming, and a lot of Bulls fans have now focused on the idea, and this is something I always talk about, the all-in idea, right? That the Bulls have to do whatever it takes, trade whoever it is, for them to be in those fans' minds what it takes to be a contender right now. The Bulls have a lot of flexibility in the offseason, even though they use their biannual exception to sign Tristian Thompson, whereas they could have waited to use it in the offseason to offer a contract up to $4 million, even though they use that now. Still a trade exception, still their own first-round pick, still a mid-level exception, right? Still expiring contracts and deals. The Bulls have a lot of tools, especially when you look at a GM like AK and Eversley, or front office like AK and Eversley. They have plenty of tools to continue to improve this team. How and the way that that'll be done, it'll be judged by how this team plays in the playoffs. And so for the level-headed comment or voicemail that we got from Quentin, absolutely, if this Bulls team does not make it as far as some of us hope or some of us think that they can go, it's not over. That's the key thing in this. I really hope that I don't see what I think we're going to see from some of these Bulls fans if the season ends, God forbid, in the second round, God forbid we don't make it to Eastern Conference Finals, how some of these Bulls fans may completely turn on the team. I really hope that we don't see that, because at the end of the day, AK and Eversley put together a team that coming into the season, myself, I said 4th seed, maybe 5th seed, right? And to come and build a team that is very close to being a contender, even if you don't view them as one now, they earned our trust, right? And I trust AK and Eversley to be able to look and evaluate whatever this team does, however the season ends for us, and to be able to say, this is the things that we need to do to get us to that next level. And we haven't had that as a GM in a front office in so long. And I understand why Bulls fans, they got a little taste, right? Now they want the full meal. And I understand why Bulls fans want that. But we have to also be realistic and realize no matter how this season ends, this is not the end of it. As long as we re-sign Zach LaVine, right? As long as AK and Eversley is still our front office, we have more than enough time to continue to compete. Let's go ahead and get into the next voicemail, the last one for today. This one's from Brandon from New York, and you guys will be able to tell by the accent.
Haize, what's good, man? Recent follower, first time calling in. This is Brandon from New York, by the way. My dude, one, great job with the show. Great job with keeping people's expectations realistic. It's very much needed if you've gone through Bleacher Report or Twitter communities for the Bulls. One thing I need people to realize, not just Chicago Bulls fans, but basketball fans, is to understand why people are not real fans and real basketball heads are not giving up on Nikola Vucevic. If you look around the league in terms of centers, there's only one other guy that does it. Of course, he's better than him, but there's only one other guy that can do what Nikola Vucevic can do, and that's the Joker. Point blank, period. The Joker is what you would, and quite honestly, they don't even have, like, the level of mobility between those two guys aren't really that different either. Okay? But there's very few guys that can do what Nikola Vucevic could do. You got maybe 4 nights out of the year, or, however many times they play, but you only got like maybe 4 centers in the league that have the skills that Nikola Vucevic has. And it's kind of frustrating sometimes to watch the games because Billy Donovan clearly should be running the offense through him. He's a mismatch almost every night. And the things that you could do just playing off of him and getting him the ball in the post, DeMar and Zach don't need the ball in their hands to be effective, especially if you got them cutting in on the move, along with everybody else on our team. Nikola Vucevic should be the guy that we're initiating our offense through. It shouldn't be from the perimeter in, because his basketball IQ is such and his passing is unbelievable, and he makes the right decision every time. Every time. Whether somebody knocks the shot down is another thing, but when it comes to what he has to do, he makes the right decision every time. And I'm just confused as to why Bulls fans give him a hard time about missing bunnies and all this other. All right, fine, whatever. He's going to miss that. But what he could be doing is, it's untapped potential in my eyes. And once we get completely healthy, if we ran our team through him, I feel completely confident about what we could do moving forward through the East towards the championship. Other than that, keep doing what you're doing, bro. Go Bulls.
So Brandon gets very detailed into Vooch's importance on the team. And all I can say is this. I love it when you guys leave voicemails that I really can't add anything right. You're 100% right. Vooch, for all the doubters and the haters that Vooch got early in the season, I think many of those have come around and understand now how important Vooch playing good is to this team, right? Especially when you go back to adding a shooting threat like Lonzo Ball to this team, to the starting lineup. The potential of getting Patrick Williams back and Patrick Williams being able to cover up some of Vooch's lacks on miscomings on defense. When you look at that, this team and what Vooch means to this team and how he can be the engine that keeps this going is so important, especially when you look at a playoff series. It's very difficult in playoff series to match up and continue to game plan for teams that can be so versatile like the Bulls can be if Nikola Vucevic is playing well. That's just this period. It's difficult. Now, I'm not saying that it can't be done, especially against some of the more strategic coaches in the league. It absolutely can be done, but it makes it that much more difficult. It gives you that much more of a leg up when you have a big man who can do the things that Vooch can do. It's not very many of them in the league, right? To Brandon's point, right? It's really Joker and Embiid. Let's say Embiid, Cat as well. Karl Anthony Towns to a lesser extent, I feel. And he can get to that level because he's still very young, but there are not a lot of centers that can give you what Vooch can, and especially when you add in the passing game, right? You add in the ability to run your offense through Vooch in several different ways. When you add in the chemistry that he has with DeMar and Zach LaVine that is built up over time, all those things make Vooch a highly important player on this Bulls team and a player that, as we get ready to gear up for the playoffs, is going to make us so much more dangerous on the offensive side of the ball. Now, we know what we need to do defensively, right? We know what we need to do to cover up some. And Vooch is not as bad as defensively as some people make him out to be. But Vooch is highly important to this team. And I guarantee you the players, even if Bulls fans always don't understand how important Vooch is to the success of this team, the Bulls players definitely understand how much it makes their lives easier when Vooch is going, playing with confidence, shooting the ball well, scoring in the post. We've seen now Vooch, as he's built up confidence, Vooch is putting the ball on the floor. He's getting to the hole. Hell, we've seen more strong dunks, right? Emphatic dunks from Vooch than we had at any part of the beginning of the season. This team, very much so, to combine this voicemail with Quentin's voicemail, we are still seeing this team improve, and that's what makes us so scary. This team has not been together very long, and we're still seeing them work out some kinks. And because of that, this Bulls team has so much to give us in the playoffs, man. And that's what I'll leave on. Thank you for the voicemails from Quentin and Brandon. Need to do better. Thank you guys for that. We did for anyone who was not here last night, we did our celebration our giveaway from hitting 5,000 subscribers. We'll be doing another one when we pass 7,000 subscribers, if we pass that by the end of March. So we got a little bit over a month. Make sure you guys telling everyone, continue spreading the word. Thank you so much for the growth of this channel. I want to stress that enough. I'm going to do as many giveaways as I can. I'm going to try to do, even not built around subscriber numbers or anything, I'm going to try to do one giveaway a month. Just for the subscribers here, for the listeners, for the supporters here. Gonna try to do one giveaway a month. It may very well boil down to it being some Chicago Bulls Central merch rather than, jerseys and things like that. But I'm gonna try to do that more often. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I can't stress that enough, how that helps the channel grow. I know a lot of people, I show up in their algorithms so much that they think they're subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're also following the podcast at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave us a voicemail like you heard today, the number to do that is 773-270-2799. Like I like to end everything on, go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.